All right, guys, so for this project, we're going to be weaving. And we did that before earlier this year with paper, but now we're going to do it with actual yarn. So there is the mechanism, the tool that we use to make something that's woven. So if we want to weave, we have to use what's called a loom. So this cardboard here, and it's got these little tabs that have been cut on both ends. This is our loom, and that is spelled L-O-O-M. All right, loom, L-O-O-M. Now, the first thing to do, we're going to start with some really pretty strong yarn. It's pretty thin, okay? And that's gonna get us started. You're also gonna need some scissors. And you will need your weaving needle, okay? This is just a plastic needle. It's got a big hole in it for weaving yarn. And your yarn. So these are our colorful, fun yarns over here. But we're gonna start with this very simple, strong yarn. Now, first we're gonna make what's called the warp. So the warp is going up and down. So we can write that here, okay? Our warp. Those are our threads that are going up and down. Now, how to get started, we're going to thread our yarn. So it's going between that little notch, going around the back, and then coming back through the front, like so, okay? We're gonna go ahead and tie our little knot. So I'm gonna tie that pretty tight, all right? So it should look like that. This little guy we can trim later. You can also maybe put him behind so he doesn't get in our way, okay? So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring the thread all the way down. I'm gonna go in between that notch. And then I'm going to come back around the back and come back through the notch next to it. All right, so the back should just look like this. So now I've got this yarn up here. I'm gonna unwind some. So I'm gonna bring it back up towards the top to the next little notch, okay? Then I'm gonna go around that little notch and go back through to the front. So now I'm coming through, I'm going to the next one. And I'm gonna keep repeating that process. Okay, so I'm going around on the back, okay, coming up on the front, and then I'm gonna go up to the next notch, okay, keeping it pretty tight, okay, feels like some guitar strings or something like that. So make sure to pull it taut. Don't make it too loose or it's not gonna be very easy to weave on. So I'm going to keep going a little further. I'll tell you in class what size your weaving needs to be. But for this, I'll just do it a little bit further, and then I'll show you how to finish it. Okay, so now we're gonna finish it. So this is where our first knot was at the top. So I'm gonna tie my second knot also at the top, okay? So I've got the thread, okay, going from the back to the front. All right, now I'm going to use my scissors to cut some off. And remember, we can trim it later, so leave several inches. Then I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna make it look like a backwards 4, okay? And then I'm gonna stick my tail through that circle, pull it up like that, and then I'm gonna do that another time. Making my 4. Okay. And tie that really tight, okay? So do it twice, and then you can put this in the back like so. Okay, so 2 of our knots, and I just tucked those tails to the back. Okay, so you should have a warp. Remember, this is our warp, W-A-R-P. Those are going up and down, and this is a finished warp. So in the next video, I'll talk to you about the weft and starting to weave.